Hello traders, and welcome to a new price action volume practice trading video of mine. So in today's video we are going to be doing a practice session. This was the most voted upon, well now it is, the most voted upon video that I had on my Patreon. It was tied between trading practice routine and price action volume practice. So that is what we're going to be getting into. But I'm also going to be talking about my practice routine towards the end of the video. So I think we're going to get a bit of both worlds, but predominantly this guy. So to start off with the price prediction challenge, I asked, are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin by Friday? Every user who I had asked, this was the moment that they had answered right here. So they did not know this, they knew this. Every one of them was bullish, except for one trader who was bearish. And this was at Mellow182, said I'm bearish and price going to 76.50. Not exactly the most accurate prediction, but still an incredible prediction to predict that this 61.8 would not hold. Price would not rebound, but rather would move much lower. Price does go down to 7,300, down to here as of current at the low. But still, yeah, good prediction at Mellow182, trading against the crowd. So what we're going to do today is talk about some rules and guidelines of what I like to look for with price action and with volume. Before we look into some examples that I prepared, and then finally we're going to be talking about a live practice chart and how I practice on my own time to increase my pattern recognition of price action and volume, and how you can as well if you are watching this video. Because I believe that practice within trading is a heavily underutilized activity. I think that strategies are everywhere for learning how to trade. Strategies in theory are all over, and how to add tools, but practice without knowing the answer, not just being shown examples, but practice is really what's going to make you a better trader, because that's going to increase your pattern recognition so that when you see another similar market move, you can call back on that market move that occurred before, and that might give you an edge. So just 5 simple price action things that we're going to be looking out for. Tails typically are going to be reversals, so we want to look for those long tails. Spring or trend. When price moves a little bit above resistance or a little bit below support, that could either be the beginning of a trend or a fake out. Price moves the other direction. That's called a spring or a shakeout. Big difference between them are 3 things. First is, how far has price moved past resistance? How far has price moved past support? The farther that price moves past resistance, the less likely it's going to be a stop loss hunt, and it's likely just to continue moving that direction. I mean, duh. More price goes up, the more likely it is to be an uptrend. Volume should be spiking with a very strong candlestick move. Volume should not be spiking with a very weak candlestick move past resistance or a little bit below support. That would not be a good sign, because that could show that that is just triggering many stop losses, and that's why the volume spiked and price just goes back into the trading range. Momentum, of course, we always want to look at the momentum volume relationship, and to see whether price will continue moving in its direction, or if we see weak momentum and price reverses. Follow-up, I think that of the 5, this one is the most important for today's practice. After we see a very strong price move, do we see strong follow-up? So after you get that single body massive bull move, as many have likely seen, what you want to see is naturally just a continuation of that up move. Whether it's slow or whether it's fast, we still just want to see a continuation. Second best, we want to see consolidation. That's just moving flat, not much happening. The worst thing that we don't want to see if we have bought in the uptrend is when price moves up very, very quickly, and then price makes a V shape. So price goes up and then immediately comes down. What that means is that the bidders are not strong. Bidders are traders who put limit buy orders to try to buy into an uptrend. And if price is going down very quickly, then the bidders are likely not that strong. There likely aren't many of them. Not many bidders will be not much demand for the trend. If there's not much demand for the trend, then price might have a much harder time going higher. And additionally, if the sellers are quite strong after that big bull move, they might just see a better price to sell Bitcoin and take advantage of that elevated price. And then if many of them sell, then we might begin to see a bit of a panic in price going down quite quickly. So it's that follow-up that we really want to focus on. Consolidation dynamics, I put this here just so that when you're looking at these practice examples, you can try to identify Wyckoff patterns or stop loss patterns or fake outs and that kind of such that one would see in consolidation. Okay, so 3 things that we want to focus on for volume, and that's it. I'm going to start with 2 and 3 because 1's a little bit different. Is volume moving with the trend? So naturally we want to see rising volume or above average volume as price moves in that direction. We do not want to see a volume spike, however. Volume spike typically acts as a changing agent. So an uptrend that has a massive volume spike will either turn into consolidation or a downtrend. It'll have trouble moving higher, especially if that volume spike is met with a candlestick that struggles to move higher, or volume spike where price struggles to move lower if we're in a downtrend. And volume concentration. So where is the volume located within the trend that you're seeing on the chart? Something like this. We want to see, with a strong uptrend, we do not want to see a top-heavy uptrend. We want to see a bottom-heavy uptrend. So what I mean by that is we want to see strong volume and strong momentum at the beginning of an uptrend. That is a very good sign. And then we want to see follow-up, and that uptrend's probably going to go much higher. An uptrend that probably will not go much higher is an uptrend that does not have a lot of volume at the bottom, the very beginning of that uptrend, and price is going up. Then out of nowhere, you see just a surge in volume with price not making a very strong bull move. That is not a good sign. That is a sign that retail has not just retail, but traders didn't buy the base of that up move, base of the uptrend, but rather they're buying the uptrend at that current moment, which could be a blow off and price goes down. And again, just a strong downtrend would be high volume at the top of that downtrend, and then average volume as price goes down. Weak downtrend would be no volume at all at the top. Weak volume as price goes down, and then out of nowhere we just get a ton of volume at the end of that downtrend. So that's the kind of things we want to be focusing on. All right, so let's go through 3 practice examples, and then we're going to go live and look at charts where both the viewer and I have not much idea of what's going to happen, and we're going to be talking about how you can practice on your own time in about 5 minutes. So with this first example, I'm going to ask you guys, without any of my input here, because I do know the answer, I prepared the example, is this bullish or is this bearish? So try to focus on these kinds of rules and the fact that a price move far beyond resistance, far beyond support on high volume and high momentum tends to continue. Might have given away there, but 3 seconds to bullish or bearish on this one. So this one was quite bullish. As you can see here, we get a market fake out within consolidation here where price moves below support on a volume spike, immediately closes back into the trading range with great bullish pullback and great momentum here. And then price consolidates, moves up. We also see a volume spike here, but this rush of buyers of retail was met with this fake out down here to trigger their stop losses. So I would believe that buyers here are likely out, and that the smarter buyers are likely buying in here and buying in here, with some probably buying right before the strong bull move. So this is a trend that does continue. The follow-up of the up move is normal, strong normal. I wouldn't say this is a strong follow-up, but we're not seeing that type of V-shaped reversal that one might see with a fake out of a strong bull move, as you can see here. Price doesn't really do that. Price is just having actually a much harder time moving lower with these tails and goes up. One fake out here with a volume spike, price goes up. One fake out here, quick bearish move, but volume spike, price goes up. Quick bearish move here, volume spike, price goes up. So just faking out retail here, faking out retail traders here, as we normally do. All right, so this example is one that is insane, but I just need to show and to talk about so that we can strategize how to play these kinds of patterns or avoid them altogether, to be honest. Why does each strong bullish bearish move in the other direction is probably the question that you're asking. Well, let's take a look at the follow-up, the immediate moves that occur after the strong move. Here we see significant volume right down here, price struggling to go lower, immediate bullish pullback, immediate bullish pullback, and very heavy volume where the move has already happened, as you can see here, but we're still getting great volume at this part of the downtrend. Additionally, we see a V-shaped reversal right here with the bulls pushing up price on very strong momentum here. That should not be happening in a strong downtrend. A strong downtrend that's met by a strong uptrend, typically that uptrend will continue. Or we'll get a heavy retracement, where price goes up to here at least. Reason I say that is after a strong downtrend, we're going to see a lot of supply over demand. So when I say a lot of supply, what I mean by that is many traders who are trying to limit sell. So what they're doing is they're putting their limit sell orders, especially on GDAX and Bitfinex, at the bottom of the order book to try to sell, to try to get someone to market buy their limit sell order. We don't see that here. If we did see many traders trying to limit sell at this point here, price would not have gone this high. That just wouldn't have been able to happen. If many traders wanted to sell, wanted to limit sell, then this just can't really happen. And if it did happen, it would have to happen on major volume spikes, as there'd have to be a significant amount of volume to press through. I don't see major volume spikes here. I just see significant bullish pullback, and that's why I think price continue moving upward. Here is a bit different. I see some high tails here after a single strong bull move, and I do see volume spikes on those high tails, as you can see right here. More importantly, I see a V-shaped reversal of this immediate bearish pullback that does not look healthy for an uptrend. Price shouldn't be transitioning to high supply. We should have high demand, where it's going to be hard to push price down because there's so much demand to keep price up. We don't see high demand. We don't see strong bidding, meaning strong limit buy orders that are propping price up. Rather, we see what looks to be weakness in the trend. Price goes down. This is my favorite part of this whole crazy bunch here. We get this beautiful two low tails, one low tail, small body, volume spike. V-shaped reversal, price begins to move upward on great momentum immediately. This is just textbook failed bear move, faking out some traders, and price goes up. So just focusing on how much price moves against the present trend after a strong move, looking at that follow-up can be quite important, as well as looking at the tails in conjunction with volume spikes as well, because they can show whether a move is genuine or just a fake out. Okay, so this pattern here, I'm going to ask you guys for the next 5 seconds, is this bullish or bearish? One hint, if you've seen my stop loss series, which talked about patterns such as this, you might know already what this is. So you can factor that into your guess, I guess. So yep. Okay, so this is incredibly bullish actually, and price moves higher. So what we're doing here is we're faking out many retail traders hitting long stop losses that might be located right below this tail here, triggering them, and then immediately closing back into the trading range here on very high volume. The volume spike here looks to be about 6, maybe 7 times the moving average, if not more. This high amount of selling would likely not be fantastic. Now, what some of you might be saying is, hey, don't you want to see high selling at the beginning of a downtrend, right? You want to see a top-heavy downtrend. That's a strong downtrend, naturally. Yes, but the shape of that downtrend matters. If you're seeing these low tails, high volume, low tail, below support, high volume, close back in the trading range, that's not really a strong base of a downtrend. Not really. A stronger downtrend, and if this had occurred, is let's say that the same move had played out. But this move, price wasn't able to go here, but price was actually down to here. That might be quite bearish because the sellers are in control. The limit sell orders are keeping price lower and lower and lower, but we don't see that here. And if you even look here, this really shouldn't be happening. And once we see this type of move, this amount of bullish pullback after this amount of selling volume, this shows that the downtrend's likely failed, and price will go higher, and price does go higher here, as you can see. Okay, so final example here, and probably the toughest example of the 3 examples that we went over. Is this bullish or bearish going forward? One hint is focus on the amount of volume as price goes from here to here, and the amount of volume that occurs at the current price. Okay, so this is incredibly bearish. I'm not really seeing a large amount of basing volume here. Not a large amount of volume at the beginning of this uptrend. I'm also seeing volume fall. The volume moving average is falling as price is moving upward. Not only is volume falling as price is moving upward, but price is seeing significant pullback every time it makes a new up move. this is not a good sign of an uptrend. What this actually is just a retracement, where we get a downtrend and then we get this retracement, triggers potential stop losses of any shorts that might be here, and then price goes lower. So this would actually be an aggressive spot to sell. Maybe we want to sell around here, where we get that pickup of momentum. But I think what's quite important here is the arrow that I drew right below the cursor, where volume is falling as price is rising, and price is rising on weak momentum and significant pullback. Just not really a type of formation that looks pretty healthy. And to top it off, we get a volume spike right here that looks about 4 times the moving average. The moving average is this orange line for those who might not know. It's set to a 20 period. You can also set it to a 10 period if you want more of a shorter term moving average. But yeah, this just doesn't look healthy, and price actually goes lower. Okay, so now we're going to get into the live practice part of this video. And this is what I do on my own time to practice price action and to practice volume so that I can be ready for types of situations in the future. Because I do like to trade price action volume. And I think that whatever type of trader you are, whether you're a 4-hour MFI trader looking at those oversold, overbought, or even a trend trader with EMAs or a sentiment trader, you really have to understand price action and volume dynamics so that you can know what looks good and what looks kind of bad for a trend. So what I'd like to do is use the bar replay bar. I think that this is only available for Pro and up, and I am going to have a description below that you can click on if you are interested in getting that kind of trading view. So you hit this, and then you get this toolbox here, and what I like to hit is this button. I just try to scroll back as much as I can and either close my eyes or just scroll really quickly so I can't see the price action. Then I stop it at a random point like this, and then I make predictions, and then I play. And the good thing about this is that you're going to be getting this instant feedback. So as I play this, I can see instant feedback of what's happening. So I can constantly make these short-term predictions and grow my skill set and grow my pattern recognition with trading price action and volume. And I also think that practice is a heavily underutilized skill thing to do with traders. I think many articles, books, videos they talk about theory, they talk about strategy, and they talk about different kinds of tools that you can use to combine to create your own strategy. And they talk about risk management and the basics, but what many of them don't talk about is how can you practice off information where you don't know the answer. Because I might know the future of this, but when I'm normally practicing, I go back to a random point. I don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't know what happened January 24th at I think that's 8:50. I don't know what happened at 8:50 on January 24th, and this is why this can be quite important. Excuse me. All right, so to jeez. I think I'm done coughing now. Not. Okay, so what we're going to see here is price bullish or bearish based on the price action, the volume here that we see. So I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to try to reason whether this is quite a bullish move or quite a bearish move. And yeah. All right, so now I'm going to hit the play button, and this was quite bearish for those who might have said bearish. Price does move higher, as you can see here. Makes a weak high, higher high, and then goes lower, as we can see here. Now what we're interested in is seeing the next volume spike or major price move, and then we're going to make another prediction, and then another one, and then another one as we keep pushing play. And that's how we can practice our price action volume. So what do we see here? We see an established downtrend that's looks to move in a 1, 2, 3 wave, or an A, B, C wave, as some may say it. We see a volume spike that is a 431 over 128. That's here. So that looks to be about I think a 4 times volume spike, or a little bit less, maybe like a 3.5x volume spike that occurs. So this is not really looking great for the sellers, for the bears. And we also see this immediate bullish pullback here. So I kind of gave it away, but I think price went up here. Yeah, that makes sense. Price does go up here. Okay, so price went up there, and then I think we begin to see this kind of movement back to the low. So at this point here, Would you be bearish or bullish? I'll give you guys 3 seconds for this one. All right, so this was actually short-term bullish, but I think we go right back down. Yep. Now we get something interesting. We see this volume spike right here. And let me actually just zoom in on it, how big that volume spike was. Yeah, that's right here. It was a 613 over 115, so that's about a 5.5 volume spike by my math. Significant volume being transacted here, so I'm expecting potentially a significant bounce soon. Or maybe a price move and then a price move lower. This is the type of move that I think occurred. Okay, so this is a textbook reversal, stop loss reversal pattern here. High volume, price goes up, fails, price goes down. Very high volume here. I see, let me just read that number a little bit clearer so you guys can see it too. Top left, 1.448K over 213. That's a 7x volume spike. So significant bearish volume being transacted here, and additionally, it looks like we might be at a little bit of support. Maybe moved a little bit below support to trigger any stop losses that were here, as we can see. And then we get this kind of bullish move here. So if you were making this prediction, do you think that this is going to begin a strong uptrend, or do you think that this might fail? So maybe you guys 5 seconds for what's going on here. What are you going to see? All right, so I think the uptrend does continue, as you can see here, until we do see a volume spike right here. Price struggles to go higher and then moves down, but I think that price continues to move higher. Yep, price does continue to move higher here. Now this is getting interesting. Yeah, what's going on here? Is this bullish? Is this bearish? What do you guys think? Let me do one more candle. That one did not help in the slightest. Okay. So is this bullish or bearish? I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds for this one. All right. So it looks like this one, I think anyone who answered bearish would be correct. This was not bullish. Price does go a little bit higher, but that's a fake out volume spike. Fake out, enticing many traders to retail traders to market buy in, and they do, and then price goes lower naturally. We're seeing low volume here, so it looks like this downtrend might continue. Yep, it does. Ooh, so this looks interesting. So price moving down on high momentum now, but volume is beginning to spike here. So let me do one more, and okay, well that one kind of revealed itself. We just moved below a few support points here. So is this bullish or is this bearish? I'm gonna give you guys 5 seconds for this one. I think this one's a little bit tough. Yeah, potentially we see, okay, yeah, potentially we just see more bearish movement. So anyone who would have answered bearish here would have been correct. And I think that makes sense. Really no reason to believe that 2020 hindsight, I understand. But at this point here, I think this was the point that I stopped it around here-ish. Really not much reason to believe that the bulls are going to take control. This is strong momentum, strong volume. Increasing volume and increasing momentum. I'm not seeing many momentum issues. I'm not seeing any like low tails, volume spikes. I'm seeing just strong filled candlesticks, as you can see here. But how about this here? Let me do a few bit more. Ooh, okay. What's going on here? So we see volume spikes here, and then price struggles to move lower, and then price goes up. We do see a 2x volume spike here, really not significant. Now we see a significant volume spike here. So is this bullish or is this bearish? I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds for this kind of pattern here, and then we are probably going to close the video soon. Yeah, so that was bearish. So anyone who would have answered bearish here, price does go lower. As you can see here, price continues to go lower, which makes sense. Volume spike here, not great momentum. And we get that V-shaped reversal with some bearish pullback after a volume spike. And then we see this pattern here. We get a volume spike here, price goes down. We just got another volume spike, price goes down. Now we see a lot of volume being transacted, but this might be the basing of an uptrend. We'll see. Yep, basing of an uptrend and price does go higher. All right, so this is the type of practice, I can't help myself here to stop practicing. Volume spike here, and then price does go down on high momentum here. Yeah. So this is the type of practice that I would be doing on my own when I'm looking at price action, when I'm looking at volume, when I'm trying to just better my skills as a trader before I actually begin a trading session. If I want to scalp, then this is definitely the way to go. But like I had said, you don't just have to do this on the 5 minute. You can use whatever time frame you want. It's just the same types of dynamics with these kinds of guidelines that just reveal the strength or the weakness of the bears and the strength or the weakness of the bulls, the strength or the weakness of those who are placing limit orders, bidders who place limit buy orders, and askers who place limit sell orders, and identifying their strength or their weakness as well, which can be a little bit more advanced, but still quite important to take. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, want to see more practice videos in the future, then feel free to vote upon more of these kinds of practice videos on my Patreon. If you are not a fan of practice videos and just care about strategy and theory, that is important as well, and vote on that or suggest that on Patreon, and we'll do more of that. Thanks for watching.